In this video, we're going to use the intersecting secant theorem to solve a problem involving a secant, I'll explain what I mean by that in a second, and a tangent. So we're going to mix a secant and a tangent this time, rather than a secant and another secant. What do I mean by secant? Well, a secant is a line that cuts the circle. So it goes into the circle, it crosses it. So that is called a secant. And this line which touches the circle, we've seen that previously, because it touches the circle at the point D, that is known as a tangent. So this time I got a secant and a tangent. Now, how does the intersecting secant theorem work? Well, basically, if we had two secants, so this line here and this line here, then from this point outside the circle, if we find the length from this point to the first point where the secant crosses the circle, and from this point to the second point where it crosses the circle, and find that product, so we do A times by B, that will be equal to the product for the other secant. So from this point to the first point it cuts the circle, so C, times by, from this point to the second point it cuts the circle, D, so A times B is equal to C times D, like that. And we can use that here as well, because if we apply it to this problem, from this point A, outside the circle, we got the length to the first point it cuts the circle, so that's 4. So if we do that, 4, multiplied by the length from that same point to the second point it cuts the circle, so we got up to here, that's going to be 4 plus 5, which is 9. So we do 4 times 9, not 4 times 5, it's 4 times 9. And that is equal to, right, okay, from this point to the first point where it cuts the circle, so that is x, so we're going to do x multiplied by... Now, this is a bit of a weird one, because when this line touches the circle, you can think of it as crossing that circle twice, like instantaneously. So when we get to this point here, it cuts the circle and then immediately cuts the circle again. So with a tangent, the two places where it cuts the circle are actually the same point because it's actually touching the circle. So therefore, this point here to the second point where it cuts the circle, we also consider as x. So it's going to be x multiplied by x. So then that gives us an equation, 36 is equal to x squared. And if you square root both sides, you get x is equal to 6. So therefore, that's the answer. X is equal to 6. And we are